How can your nonprofit organization make the most out of a fundraiser? Well, one of the most important parts of fundraising effectively is the timing. My name is Mitch Colleran, and I'm the CEO here at Join It. I've helped over 1,800 organizations fund their activities by planning effective fundraising. And today, we're going to talk about how to get the most out of your fundraising with timing. So, what is the best time to actually ask for donations? Is there one specific month when it's best to launch your fundraising campaign? The short answer is no, there's not. However, there's some months that you should absolutely avoid if you're going to ask for donations. And on the other hand, there's better months if you're really trying to optimize for every last dollar when you should launch your fundraising campaigns. So before we discover which months are best to fundraise in, let's talk about which month you should absolutely avoid. You should avoid fundraising in February. Statistically, this is the lowest month for donations. And that tends to be because everyone's still in that post-holiday slump. And let's face it, their wallets are a little flat. Now, that doesn't mean you can't do anything in February. February is a great month to plan for future campaigns or to do unrelated activities like recruit volunteers to your organization. Now, let's get to the good stuff. We already talked about 1 month that you should absolutely avoid. There's about 8 months that are somewhere in the middle, but what we're going to focus on today are the top 3 months for fundraising, and we're going to dig into each of those now. So let's dive into the top 3 months for launching a fundraising campaign. In third place, we have November. This is primarily due to the fact that November holds Giving Tuesday. Giving Tuesday is a day that's been designated for folks to give back to their community. For you to launch your fundraising campaign in November around Giving Tuesday, people are already in that charitable mood, and you can take advantage of people opening up their wallets to give back. So that's why we recommend, in third place, for you to launch that fundraising campaign in November. Moving on to the second best month to fundraise, it might surprise a lot of people, but it's June. Now, for those in the Northern Hemisphere, it might seem odd because summers are expected to be slow, but a lot of folks are having their kids end their school term, which means they're planning family vacations. There's also a lot of optimism in the air around this time. So you can really leverage that by planning a campaign that's fun and family friendly. And then you can take advantage of that spirit to have an effective fundraising ask. Now it's time to announce the best month to launch your fundraising campaign. And can you guess? There's a holiday spirit. It's a very charitable time of the year. And that's right, drum roll please, it's December. December is absolutely the best time to launch your fundraising campaign. You might be surprised to learn that 30% of annual donations come in December. Now, you can put this down to December being a time when people are feeling very charitable. There's a lot of religious holidays where people count their blessings and want to give back to their communities or people less fortunate. And there's another part here. In December, people are often finalizing their donations for the year. In a lot of countries, you can deduct donations from your taxes to get a lower tax burden. So often people want to give donations to causes they care about and 501c3 organizations so that they don't have to pay as much in taxes. So definitely take care of this charitable and giving spirit and the end of the year deadline for making your donations before the end of the tax year. Now that we've covered the top 3 months for you to launch your fundraising campaigns in order to get the most out of them, I'm going to give you a few more tips to further improve those campaigns. First, and this is so important, make sure your donation page is mobile friendly. When someone lands on that donation page ready to give, it should be optimized for mobile and have a simple UX so you convert them to donation in just a few steps. The second tip is create a shareable component to your campaign. Now, the gold standard here was the ALS Ice Bucket Challenge. If you don't remember, ALS launched a campaign where they invited folks to dump a bucket of ice on themselves, fundraise and ask for a donation, and then invite other people to take the same challenge. This created an inherent virality to their campaign that ended up in tons of donations and a massive fundraising success. Now, you don't have to go that far. It could be something like sharing a story of how they've been impacted by your cause on a certain hashtag. But however you choose to go about it, just make sure there's a sharing component to your campaign. The third tip I have for you is be radical with your creative. Now, this is a one-time campaign. It might happen once a year in December, and you really need to stick out from the throngs of other campaigns that folks are receiving. So this isn't your new branding for your entire organization, so you can really take it to that next level and be radical to stick out from others. If you just kind of go the safe route and do what you always do in terms of a flyer or an email, it'll really blend in. So when you launch this campaign, be radical. My fourth tip is to build trust with potential donors. They really want to make sure their dollars are impacting the cause that they care about. So if your organization can put together case studies or evidence that you're making an impact against that cause, you'll be much more effective. Now, you can also be transparent. You can be transparent with your financials or your internal operations, and that builds trust as well. Always remember that trust builds loyalty, and loyalty brings donations. My fifth and final tip is send that thank you note. And the more personal, the better. There's an old adage, which you've probably heard 100 times, that it's way cheaper to retain an existing customer than acquire a new one. This also applies to donors. You can activate past donors and retain donors by making sure they know where their money is going and making sure they feel appreciated through a thank you note. So always send that thank you note, and for your big donors, make it personal. So that's it for today's video. Always remember, if you're creative and passionate around your cause, that authenticity will come through and you'll be even more successful for it. Don't forget to check out our guide to 501c3 organizations right here. And if you like these type of insights and want to get more, please like and subscribe. I hope to see you on the next video.